as Great Britain potentially favored in this one. They are 5th overall ranked in the world by the International Wheelchair Rugby Federation, and Sweden right there beside them as well. But the records that they take into this competition, it was Great Britain with those narrow defeats, and devastatingly so, against Australia and equally against Canada. And then ultimately a victory over, it is Brazil, by 20 points that they record their one victory. For Sweden, it was a journey against Japan and the United States where they fell up short, and then France, they do record their first victory in this tournament. They'll want to finish 5th, of course. They're outside the medals, and that already has been done and taken care of today. The gold medal and the bronze medal matches set up for day 5. But it's this opportunity for these two sides to shine again on the floor in Rio. And the Polish official, it's Łukasz Śmieciak, is in charge of this one, and the American Darren Roberts to take the duties. They are in position, just awaiting the athletes to make their way out onto the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the players from Sweden.
There is their captain. Stefan Jansson will make his way first and out onto the floor. And this Sweden with their best performance of the tournament, that victory over France, and they are suggesting why did they wait so long to play the game that they did. Well, taking on Japan and USA in this group, that is no easy task. Number 1 and number 3 in the world respectively. NORLIN, a captain on the side as well. They are an older side overall. They have an average age of 38 exactly. So in wheelchair rugby terms, that is the eldest on this particular lineup of 18 at these Paralympic Games in Rio. They are excited to compete. They will give Great Britain everything they can ask for in this one. There is the Canadian Benoit Lebrecq. He has been in charge of the Canadian men's, or the wheelchair rugby program. It's both men's and women's, this sport. There are no women on this Swedish team, but there are for Great Britain. They are one of the 2 that have a female player in this competition. And here comes Chris Ryan. He will lead Great Britain out onto the floor. Mandip Semi, number 1, returns from London in those Paralympic Games. They finished 5th there. They are contending to return to that position. It is tough at the top to get through and crack into the top 4. Japan are just sitting in that 4th position in the potential tournament here. Maybe the Canadians favored in that bronze medal match, but Japan officially are the 3rd ranked team. This a good battle it will be, as Alan Ash returns to the lineup as well for Great Britain. He misses the tournament in London, but this is the man who will take things forward for Great Britain. They will lean on him, and as he goes, so will they. It is Jim Roberts, number 9. Ayaz BHUTA, 10, comes out onto the floor. And this entire lineup with great support, traveling support here for GB. There she is, Coral BATEY, number 23. She was outstanding in their last matchup as they played the Brazilians. It's now time for the national anthems. Both nations introduced and ready to do battle. They'll shake hands. There's smiles now. They are gracious and they are grateful for each other. Full respect. But it is all going to be business here. It's all about pride. It's about being the best in Europe. That is the mantle for both of these teams now. Without the prospect of a medal, it's about finishing as high as you possibly can and making progress now under the charges of that man there, Paul Shaw. It is Benoit Lebrec. He has been in charge of this team since, of course, London. They were in that position there where they finished very similar to where they are right now, but Great Britain have a good stern chat about how they need to support what will be the Jim Roberts Show, number 9. Watch it coming up. So that is Ayaz BHUTA and Gavin Walker right beside each other, having a very clear discussion with their coach. They will run with Jim Roberts as best they can. Roberts' overall tally in this tournament, he averages 25 goals a game. He really is in and amongst the heavyweights in this sport. Regarding Zach Bedell, Riley Batt, those two players, respectively, that's where Jim Roberts is at. This is real business. This is the most I have seen the coach for Great Britain, Paul Shaw, chat to his side. And it is the same lineup again, right through from Jim Roberts, number 9, Ayaz BHUTA, 10, Jamie Stead and Chris Ryan. When they bring in Coral BATEY, she was dynamic, really. She took out the sensational talent from Brazil, Julio Braz. And the way she was able to play, she's able to score as well. She can really be a difference maker. She's a 2.0 classification. And with her on the floor, they get an extra 0.5 that they're allowed. So 4 players total on the floor for each side. This is Sweden. And Tobias Sandberg, their number 6. NORLIN, number 8. Stefan Jansson, number 13. And Thomas HJERT as well. The ones to be looking for. And Benoit Lebrec, well, he urgently wants to see his team return to the type of form that they brought against in their last game. They took on France and they were victorious there. They win that one by 8 goals. They're ready and the hands have been touched. The knuckle touches as they are ready to go. ADASZAK Sandberg, Jansson and HJERT in the opening lineup for Sweden. Roberts is set for this opening tip. And HJERT right there beside him. Referees are in position. It's now just for commencement of play. And he directs the final bit of traffic. It'll be taken by Great Britain on this opening touch. And Jim Roberts will find Ayaz BHUTA. And from left to right, Great Britain in red. They will score first. And on the board, BHUTA loves to get the touch and to feel it. And equally to score. Who doesn't? And he gets things going here. The 27-year-old for GB. In squeezing, that is clever how he stretches himself out. In effect, really, Sandberg makes himself a little bit thinner and he just slips through the alley. He's got the first goal for Sweden and it's a beauty. Gavin Walker can run alongside Roberts and support him, but he's given this one up. Jansson to Sandberg, over the top to HJERT, and here comes Sweden. They've taken the lead as quick as that. That costly turnover, and that'll be something Great Britain will need to focus on for sure. BHUTA will take the majority of this possession. The offload to Roberts, that is their best threat, as you just see him churning it out, and he powers across the line for GB. He has his first, and BHUTA the other. Sandberg into a tight spot, and BHUTA basically gets railroaded. As he's not the heaviest player or the biggest. He's awaiting prone. He needs some help to get up. These chairs are so heavy that they do need the bench, but he hits one of the other players, I think possibly his own first, and then he was in no position to really attack and get to Sandberg. He'd already been upended on the play. So we're not a minute gone yet, and we already have had a pretty noticeable turnover from Great Britain on the inbound, a couple scores each. BHUTA needs to settle himself back in. That was a pretty abrupt fall, in fairness. It was probably the element of surprise. He thought he was going to get to Sandberg, and before he did, he was already upended. Sandberg has good moves. He's not the fastest player out there, but he is considered, and he'll give it to HJERT. HJERT will try to back in, but this even better. Across to ADASZAK, and a distribution across this scoring line of 3 players for Sweden, taking the opening scores. Up to Roberts. Roberts can get it to BHUTA. He will. He's got more space. Now he's got HJERT in front of him. Back to Roberts, and look at him. He'll tidy it up as quick as you give it to him. And that's his second now. The other, he shares with BHUTA, who makes the assist on that play. Sandberg, he's got himself some speed now. He gets away from Roberts, and he's just put me in my place there with the speed game. He rockets out of his own end zone and really shows what he's got in the offering tonight. So equally, he made the remark after that France game that they thought they were just starting to play better, maybe a little bit too late in this tournament. So Great Britain, with a victory themselves, it sees them into this matchup. There's going to be nothing in this one other than execution over the 32 minutes. If we've got to go further, well, that equally could be, but this is the turnover straight back for Roberts. He gets right in that line, and that bump play in is not accurate enough as you see him just gobble it up and convert it. And Great Britain now in the lead for this first time. It's up and over across the Sandberg. The long play out to HJERT. HJERT is a very capable scorer as well for Sweden. He averages just under 18 goals a game, so he is their leader. But at the moment, it's been Sandberg that has been setting the table. And they both share a couple. The other one belongs to ADASZAK. So ADASZAK in this tournament, he averages 1 a game. He's done that already in the opening few minutes. Ayaz BHUTA, what an offload, and up to Gavin Walker. And it's like the hot potato. He just shuffles it across. That was like a rugby pass, except it's forward, but he makes that good lateral, and Walker will take his opening score. So this wheelchair rugby, a combination of so many sports. Rugby more of a name just for credibility, because it's a hybrid of most everything, and it's a thriller. The physicality, a big part of it, the speed, and this coming around the end, it's Thomas HJERT, who will score again for Sweden. So he takes the lead now with his hat trick. Handball, basketball, American football, ice hockey as well. You see just these races that they take each other on right up the floor. And you really see these players cut loose, and they've got that room. Gavin Walker has got a second goal now for Great Britain. Sandberg with some pretty good balance. He's not going to rush things. He will execute a timeout if he needs to, but he hasn't got a player over this line. He does now. And he's going to just bounce it for himself. Robert's not overly asserting himself. He's quite patient. You might see other players who would go in there and try to unhook it and try to steal it from him. So Sandberg will take that. If you give him a little bit of extra time and space, that's where he's more effective. He goes backside to ADASZAK, and that might be something for Great Britain. The other teams that are in the top 4, they wouldn't have given so much time and patience for Sandberg. They are ruthless. And courtesy in this one, well, it's a part of the game, of course, sportsmanship. But if you're going to get into the top echelons of this sport, you really have to play for keeps with every bit of possession and every chance you can in order to get it back. It's going to be HJERT that goes into the penalty box now. And with the 4-on-3 advantage, it is Great Britain. So they will score here for sure. It's just a matter of when, as Roberts will just survey his options. He takes it across and he scores. And again, GB will take the lead by 1. It's shoveled well forward for only Thomas here to receive. He gives the thumbs up to his teammate. Sandberg is playing as well as I have seen this tournament. He's given HJERT a 4th goal, and there is a launcher up and forward, right perfectly bounced to HJERT, and it's money in the bank. And BHUTA has blown a tire. It happens often enough in this wheelchair rugby. It's the big ones. The small ones, well, they'll go through most everything. But the big ones have an inflatable inside those wheels, and also the protection on those spokes, or otherwise they would be mangled before long. Haven't seen a huge hit as yet. It has been rather tempered as these two sides just get a feel for each other. They have split the opening 16 goals, and there it will be Great Britain again. The nod ahead. BHUTA with the most comfort I have seen him offensively in this tournament right now. He's got a couple, does BHUTA. He's not going to be able to hold back Sandberg. Sandberg has got a flow going though. Equally, he is feeding it the best that he has so far, and that's his hat-trick goal. He's got 3. Lebrecht, it's almost as if he's playing it right with him. He's up and down that sideline with his team. Jim Roberts is going to get to double digits first for Great Britain. There really isn't a player on this floor, one-on-one, that's going to stop that man. He's really in another class. Sandberg tries to twist and turn and get himself out. Immediately arriving, this is a great play from Walker. They have forced the issue, and BHUTA will pick up the loose change. Where will he go with it? He's going to try and make a handoff, but Thomas HJERT's there, and he's got sticky fingers. He's trying to take it away. Roberts will slow things down. BHUTA will just set up a little bit of a pick, as JANSSON had the best of him. He was offering a tail to Roberts. He's not interested. And the Swedish player leaving the field of play. That was ADASZAK that just maybe in his motion, they're going to actually penalize him rather than award the easy goal. A moment on the big screen. The crowd building in this karaoke at #1 arena. ADASZAK will just watch from the sideline for a moment as the power play is in effect for Great Britain into Roberts. And he'll just have a little think. And he's talking to his side right now about how they want to attack this one. Walker comes in, provides that cross screen, and it really just opens things up perfectly. Jim Roberts, as easy as it comes to score that one. Sandberg in the middle of a couple GB defenders. He attracts more attention. The more he is effective, the more they will close him down. They've given him probably a little too much room already, in fairness, Great Britain. It is controlled by HJERT, a former hockey player. And that is where his impairment came from in the course of playing recreational hockey. But he has been a standout for this wheelchair rugby side for Sweden. He brings it in. He's forced to call a timeout as Great Britain start to assert themselves more aggressively on defense, and they need that. And double twos for Sweden in gold and blue. They look to get to double digits, and they are running out of time. They're inside of 5. They've already had a timeout. This is going to be a great score, and to get it into a new player as well. His first touch of it is Andreas Collin, his opening goal of the match. And GB really needed to have taken away that near side post, and that goes without saying, but a new player, it had to be more difficult than that. But Walker has established some space in the open floor. He scores again, right back, and they reestablish this lead. It's up by 2. So Great Britain, they score first. They win that opening tip. NORLIN now is on this floor. He's the co-captain. 42 years young. He puts it up to Thomas HJERT, who's a little quicker, and it's a little bit easier for him to get in behind the defense. But NORLIN is an old battleship, an old Viking ship. He will get himself into good positions. He'll keep this team afloat sometimes when SANDBERG and equally HJERT haven't been able to just get things rolling. And he's a good steadying influence on this side. But Walker, he also is effective equally like NORLIN. He picks up a loose ball there, and inside the last minute of this opening period, Great Britain are looking to go back in front by 2. Jim Roberts from here. There is nothing that will stop this man, certainly not from that distance, but he could very well go through 30 goals tonight. Everything seems matter of fact for Jim Roberts. In this, his first Paralympic Games in wheelchair rugby. He makes the sport look very easy indeed. It's Sweden inside this last minute. They want to, of course, get to a dozen and make sure that they are as within 1. If they can manage this clock, though, that's the key, and not leave too much of an opening for GB to respond. HJERT doubles back on himself. A great spin move, but he spun himself into trouble. And makes sense of this one, because it was touched by Great Britain and then back. And if we got it over and back, we'll look at the official scoring on this one. Roberts takes it in his stride. He's a good learner. He's picked this sport up quickly. So they were on the wrong side of the line is what it was. At center line, it's ultimately like basketball, over and back. And this, Andreas Collin up against number 12 for Great Britain. This is Jamie STEAD. And STEAD is a very useful player. He and the captain, Chris Ryan, they work together extremely well. Not on the floor at the moment, but they will be, I'm sure, before this match is out. But that is the end of the opening 8. And it is Great Britain just the nose ahead. They've got to 13 points. They share 25. And Sweden, of course, with a dozen. This a match for 5th place. It's the wheelchair rugby from Rio. And a few more turnovers for Sweden. A couple defensive fouls. And Great Britain with 2 steals. Sweden have got to feel good about having this only be a 1-goal differential after 8. It's the final match of day 4 in the wheelchair rugby. And the final game for both of these teams on this showcase that has been breathtaking at times. Probably for Great Britain, the match that they take on the reigning silver medalist, Canada, where they go to extra time in group play and they come up just short by the 1 goal. That'll be a memorable moment. But equally, they push Australia in a tight game as well. They are knocking on the door with these top nations in the world. Roberts strips that away from Colin. And 6 seconds gone. That's the kind of play that you need to see from a Jim Roberts. He could be that player, and I think he could be one of the top 3 in the world. There's just many things to learn about this particular sport. A few more tricks of the trade. Over the top, into HJERT, and the score will come. And that's just patience and timing right on the money. Ayaz BHUTA has got a couple of Swedes, and they've got him in a vice grip. They have contact on his arm as well. And it was well played, in fairness, by BHUTA, the way he turned his body and forcing the reach in from Colin. He goes across, and he'll serve this penalty now. Ayaz BHUTA has just carved a nice little route all the way through the Scandinavian back line, and he scores the 14th one for Great Britain, right through the goal line, and out will come Colin again. They're back to 4-on-4. Ten seconds and counting. He's got to call a timeout. He didn't have an option. They were a little bit too slow in returning to the party. And it all starts with that first insert pass. And nobody close enough or in a direct enough line for that ball to be played in. $14,500, the capacity inside this karaoke arena number 1. And it has been the home for the entire competition. It hasn't been that long, but it has a lot of depth and dimension to it already. With these top 8 sides, they have all provided a story for these Rio Paralympic Games, in particular this tournament. It's been a sprint, but they've all had to go deep. And they're digging deep here now. Oh, it's Roberts who gets enough of it. And I think he does touch it last. As the energy, there's been no shortage of that. They could light up the city, Rio de Janeiro, with these fans and their people. They love sport, they love a good time, and they love to be good hosts. And they've been exactly those 3 things. And are they going to count it? They're suggesting. Well, just get the official one. Colin looked to be in a position to score that one. Is he called timeout? It's turned over. It's out of bounds. He actually just catches that post there, and that's what's been assessed. Jim Roberts will just get it out to BHUTA, and you're not going to catch him from there. As well intended as you might be, he is in too good a position. He takes it, and another easy score. Great Britain have taken a 2-point lead. Inside play to NORLIN. NORLIN's going to go for his opening score. And there is the veteran of this side. He's got his first. And he a reflection of this older demographic. The oldest player officially for Sweden. is the 56-year-old, number 10, Thomas Eriksson. So he's just coming into his prime at 42. So the power play advantage now for Great Britain with the extra player. He does not wait long, Jim Roberts. He's just as happy to convert it when it's available to reassert this 2-goal lead. And HJERT has got BATEY right in his grill, and she won't let up. She's a little bit like a nightmare, and in the best sense of the term. She just gets that bumper into you in her long chair. She's a defensive player, but you wouldn't know it. She can score as well, but she is just very attentive to detail, understands her assignment, and she executes it extremely well. They did it against Julio Braz, who I think will become one of the top players in the world in this sport. And they just basically nullified him, just through positioning, through guile, through smarts, and equally using the chair. It's a pass inside to NORLIN, and they've slowed things up there. They've got him in the GB buckle. They're forcing Sweden now to have to rethink how they want to attack things. Here is Bulbul HUSSAIN inside the HJERT. It's a great play. They spin, they open. They make the entrance pass, and Thomas HJERT will take it across. It's another good score. He's got 7 now. And Roberts, like it's a stroll through the Olympic Park in London. He scores another one, and he leads from the front. He's on double digits. Up and over the top, there it is. It's the reverse rainbow, right into the clutches of NORLIN, Mikael NORLIN, the captain. Whoops, right in. As he will take it, a little nuzzle of it, and he puts it down for the referee. Ayaz BHUTA, he's already got position, and the pole position will get him another score. They go ahead, and with Ayaz BHUTA, he's got 5. The Viking ship puts it up to Andreas Kollin, and he is already awaiting. He cuts loose, and that will set sail for another Swedish score. Andreas Kollin's got a hat trick now. Jim Roberts, forget about it. He's gone, and he has over half the field of play in which to do it. He doesn't even get out of first gear. And I wonder if he does entirely know just how talented he is. He understands, obviously, that he is the main scorer on this side, but I think there's a couple more levels yet to be seen in that man. In, take a chance, try to strip it from him. They have forced the mistake. It was intended to be to the Swedish target. But it goes right through the baseline, and this is the tough place in which to put it in. SANDBERG returns to the match. They're in a box here. This is a phone booth, and we don't use those much anymore. There's no need for it this time either. Jim Roberts will just cut loose and break away one more time. That's been the last 3 scores like that for him. really does look like it's all in a day's work for him. HJERT to roll. He'll have to cut back against the grain. He gets a BATEY bump from behind. That might leave a mark. It's inside though to JANSSON. He will score. Well taken. And he's been waiting for his opportunity to contribute. He's the co-captain. And he's now on the board with his first goal. SANDBERG on the money. And JANSSON is only too ready to score it. Ayaz BHUTA. And the points that they are recording both of these sides seems a little bit devoid of too much defense right now. They're going to go score for score. And I'm not sure that's entirely what either of these coaches want to see. BATEY up against SANDBERG. She'll let him go. She throws the anchor on JANSSON. And a cross block comes in from HJERT on Roberts so that SANDBERG can get free. But he's gone right back into the snarl of it. BHUTA gets upended. This is a great offload to JANSSON. Inside and across. And Sweden, ever cerebral, find a way. And they turn it over. Here they come, Sweden looking for it. They're trying to ram it across the line. Bulbul HUSSAIN, I believe, is going to get penalized here with the contact on the arm. And this is a swing point for sure. Thomas HJERT is in the control position. He's in command from here. And none of the Swedes, now JANSSON, will come across to prepare for the re-entrance. And there is Coral BATEY. She, the culprit, takes her opening foul in this match. And Bulbul HUSSAIN, SANDBERG is gonna get up to him. He provides the swipe right through like a matador. And Bulbul, that was rather BHUTA, just shows him the cape and right on through like a raging bull. SANDBERG ends up on the floor. So he's just getting himself back upright, and BHUTA, he just goes to clear his thoughts. And it's timeout for Great Britain. So that sequence a moment ago, as Coral BATEY goes down for the low five for every single one of her teammates. A good spirit in amongst this match for both of these sides. And Shaw directs traffic with his 4 on the floor now. Roberts, all he needs to do really is to decide which lane he wants to take. There is enough for him to choose from every time he wants to attack that line. He can go and take that ball just like that. And I wonder sometimes right into the hammock. This will be taken, and what has happened? It's going to be a foul, is it? We'll just see. And I'm not sure what he's called there. nonetheless, it is for Great Britain. They will take it. Roberts, who provides that pressure, forces the mistake from Sandberg. He fires a rocket, but it's right into the hammock of COGGAN. It was 12 seconds, was officially what was called against Sandberg before the turnover. So that's what the referee called. He just clarified it and said, no, it's going to be an inbound. We're not just going to have this one in continuous play. It looked like a pick six, like you might see in the National Football League, American football. You take an interception and then you take it to the house. Sandberg with the round the world fake. He shows it and he's trying to insert this one. He puts it out there like the windmill. And he's patient enough. He almost got upended as STEAD threw the anchor on him. And it looked like it was going to be heavy enough to sink his ship. And it's contact on the arm from Sandberg, so he'll go and sit down for what I can guarantee is less than a minute. Or is this going to go to STEAD? There's no way of that. I think he's come over to see what goes on over there. He's not been in there. It's Sandberg who will sit down at the end of this opening half of play. And Lebrecht is just going to take back one of the players that he was going to substitute in. Takes that card, puts it back in his pocket. And there you see the distribution of scoring so far. It's Roberts who leads from the front. And I would bet dollars to donuts that he's about to score a 15th here. And he's on his way. He can manage more of this time, but what they want to do is leave enough time after another 40-second allocation that Great Britain should be able to get another crack at scoring. So they have managed this game and started to squeeze it a little bit. And Sweden are starting to wheeze. They're drawing for air because Great Britain are starting just to get the clamps on them. This for HJERT though, he's got some room. He's going to just drive and ride it, surf it across the line, take the wave all the way across the shoreline. And he's reached the English Channel and across into Dover. Roberts, he can spin like Johnny Travolta in his days. He's over the top into STEAD. Where and how? Oh, he's got himself into a little bit of a jam here. He's gonna have to come over the top. He does to Jimmy Roberts, and Jimmy Roberts needs a 4x4. It's a Land Rover style score this time as Sandberg drives him from behind. He's got 16 now. And that's the end of the opening 16 minutes. It's been well played by both of these teams. Managed just a little bit better by Great Britain. They are the favorites in this one, and they come out and execute it according to their game plan. They will take the lead into halftime and equally into the second half to come in just a couple of minutes. They are 25-22 up over Sweden. Turnovers 2-1 for Sweden. The defensive fouls 5-1. And one more steal as well for Great Britain. Those are the early fingerprints of what looked to be a winning formula. It's the halftime, and the show in here has been great. These over 14,000 fans, the only seats that are empty are the ones out getting a beer. I can tell you that. They love their wheelchair rugby in Brazil, and this is one of the last shows going on. The final day still to come, and that for bronze and gold in day 5, and also the last day of the Paralympic Games. But this is the prime matchup in the park right now.
Hey guys, it's halftime, so it's time for us to do something really cool. I've seen you doing the wave already, but now we're going to do a different kind of wave. We're going to do a slow motion wave. Galera,
short, but it was potent. The energy here inside this arena, I'm not sure any of these players have ever seen it live like this. It is electrifying, and this crowd have been whipped into a frenzy in just a few more minutes through that halftime. They're ready to support a little bit more flair as well out on the field of play. Jimmy Roberts, though, he is business from beginning to end. He's a 9-to-5er, punches the clock and carries the mail. It's across the line for a 26 score for Great Britain. Sandberg sends it in long distance with a little bit of style. Points on the end of it. It just kicked up nicely for Janssen. He takes it into his grasp, and that basket has been converted into another score. And the captain for GB, Chris Ryan. He's got a good brain for this game. He reads it, he sees it, and he generally is a step ahead as to where it will be going. Sandberg, he likes to use his smooth and graceful delivery, really. But he showed us earlier that he's got power aplenty in that chassis. He says, I'll go long. Don't be surprised if he goes short. He's got a little bit of that salesmanship about him. Inside, though, it's into Janssen. And that insert will get them a 24 pack of points now for Sweden. That's his fourth, the captain. Stead will send it out to Ryan. And Ryan just cruises it across, stretches back, and takes it. It's a 4-goal lead again for Great Britain. They had it as 3 at halftime, and they're increasing things in this third period. ADASZAK gets twisted around, and he wasn't quite sure with his back to the play which way to turn, in which to try and create an angle to receive that. And of course, it goes right on through and into the bench. And Great Britain with the long pass up. It'll be an easy score from here as Stead will convert it. Good, reliable player there as well for Great Britain. And probably the only thing that separates them from one of the top 4 nations in the world is just another potent scoring number 2 that runs shotgun with Jamie, or Jim Roberts rather. And if he had that, that's probably the next step in the ascendancy of this British program. And of course, that's easier said than done. They are not just growing on trees, and they need to be cultivated and developed. And there are different ways in which to skin a cat and find ways to win. But if you look at the way the top nations in the world are constructed, they have that. They've got some size, some speed, and speed does kill in this sport. It just puts pressure on hooking the possession there. It will be last touch, though, by Sweden. And KERR just like a dart. That was like a serpent's tongue. He goes in and strikes. Takes it away. But this is tough. This isn't easy down in the corner here. What you're really doing is putting a player, again, in these tight spaces, and he doesn't know where to go. Ryan's got an option to COGGAN, and he will score. He backs it across the line. And COGGAN makes a good decision there. They thought that maybe they weren't going to utilize him. He opens up, and he was the easy play for Ryan. They're now to 30-5 ahead. It's out and over top for Janssen. He takes it and does well to balance himself and keep control. He doesn't want to turn it over by losing his position upright in the chair. And that was what was at risk there as he goes high above to pull that one down. ADASZAK has picked himself up a foul, and he awaits there in that penalty box area, the sin bin, before he gets released. Ryan returns to the bench as Walker is out there with Roberts. Sandberg doesn't even flinch. He just lets Roberts have it. He accepts that that is what's coming. So he prepares to try and be an inbound option here, but also not wanting to get locked in. ADASZAK will feed it to Sandberg, and he's got two players on him. He's going to have to make a pass to get out of this one. He's got HJERT to take it. HJERT, is opening up some of the open road. Roberts throws on the brakes and almost reverse hits him, but can't quite get to him. Strong, punishing, and powerful. He takes it straight through the middle of the Swedish defense. And it looks too easy right now for Roberts. He's got 19. And he's just breaking a sweat. Sandberg will get into a snarl here. He doesn't have that breakneck speed, but he has shown us that if you give him a little bit of a head weight, he will start to really lock it down. It's been caught by Great Britain. And again, it will be that 12-second violation, just to confirm. And that's exactly what it is. And Roberts runs it across the line. He rather prefers that, I think. Some of that cross-country roading. It really isn't the complexion of this matchup, but when he's had a chance to go against some of the rugged customers that are in this game, he has not shied away. He's taken this one from Sandberg. He will just return and equally get another little test from Janssen. Up to Coral BATEY. BATEY's got an option, but she's been popped from behind. And just pool cued out. And I'm not sure whether it was quite the touch or whether she just in her movement just lost the handle on it. But it looked as though the Swedish player had just got enough of her. And NORLIN will come in. This is Roger Lindberg. He's 44 years young, and this is his first minutes in this matchup. There he is, over top to NORLIN, running and gunning, up to Janssen, and they put together the three-pass sequence and a score for the Swedes. Thomas HJERT is into Walker, so is Janssen. Coral BATEY will wait for this to arrive. NORLIN chases, but it's a little too late, as she will score her first of the day. And she's a very likable player, this young lady. 21 years of age. And she gets right in there, and she gets stuck in. They've done what looked to be a turnover, GB. And is it a foul that is being called there? Again, they're going to call that 12 seconds. They could not advance it across that center line. He does a great job, in fairness, to keep that in. That was Mike KERR And he was just riding the rail of that center line, making sure to not allow it over. And they get that rather than an official turnover, but this is what they will just be reviewing here. Lebrecht is now supporting, or he is sporting rather, the 5 o'clock shadow. It has been 4 days, and they, on their last chance to shine on center stage here in Rio. They waited so long to come out into this Paralympic party, this wheelchair rugby tournament. They just take up the last 5 days. And much of that is because obviously the format, having 8 teams, 2 groups of 4, 3 days of preliminary play, but equally it's about the damage they do to this floor. And this is where the wheelchair basketball tournament was taking place. And you've got to have these guys come on last. HJERT will score for Sweden. He takes a very easy feed, and control is the name of the game for him. He has now 11 for the Scandinavians. Walker over the top to BATEY. I thought she would release it quicker than that, but she likes traffic. It will go up to KERR. KERR is looking for his option. He'll spin, he'll tuck, he'll give it back to Roberts, and I'm sure Roberts would love to give it to him too as far as another score, but it's BATEY who gets it this time. She's got her second goal. And KERR was looking for his first there, and he's got to be a little frustrated. He'd love to have converted it. But he gives it back to old sure hands, Jimmy Roberts, and then he hands it off to BATEY. Another bonus point for all of her good defensive work. Oh, that's a good side shot coming in to JANSSON. HJERT will go over, and LINDBERG pulls this one down. He looks pretty calm, like he's in the back garden right now, just enjoying the day. But this will be stripped from him. Coral BATEY, she's more spry than that. Off she goes, and she is giving every moment a chance to score a third. And the bench gets right in behind her as well, wanting to see it. She's providing a little bit of a screen on the left side. Jimmy Roberts will utilize what she has provided. And there it will be another score for Great Britain. And they're working very well as a team. And now she's back in the face of LINDBERG, and then he gets rammed from behind. And that was KERR, just who had already committed to the hit. Take that, he says. That reaching in was BATEY, contact on the arm. So she just gives up nothing. You see the guys looking across, and they can't help but be impressed. I am. I think she's outstanding. Sweden across the line again. It's a score from HJERT, and he almost understated every time he scores. You'd love to see a little bit more emotion, but I'm sure he's feeling it. Walker into Roberts. Roberts could have given the offload there back to BATEY. She turns away. Roberts will just make certain of it. And he's got himself through to 23 goals. The next closest in this match is Thomas HJERT with 12. And that level of disparity between the two top scoring players in a matchup, that's considerable. It's up and a good score. Great to see it. And that will be for Roger LINDBERG, the 2.0 classification. That's his first goal. And we look right through his line here. That's his first goal of this tournament. Coral BATEY, she's starting to make a habit of it. She's got it now. And this is looking more and more easy every time she does it. She's got a hat trick for her efforts. And Lebrecht I think he's smiling a little bit. Not entirely sure what was said, and I think playfully done. But she has been great. This has been played with great respect, this sport. So is the entire Paralympic Games. If you ever want to be humbled and you want to watch sports people who are grateful for their blessing to be on the world stage, well, this is the place in which to do it. Across the line, again, Coral BATEY. She is bankable. She's got 4 now, and it brings about substitutions. So it looks as though these players have got themselves wrapped up is the issue. They might have to get out the tow truck. I think they're okay. They've been separated. LINDBERG, hopefully he's all right. And that, sometimes you'll see the caster wheels just get into those baskets, and no matter what you try to do, you can't get out. It's like the locking mechanisms. Just the one. NORLIN with some good speed. His angle, though, has just sent him a little bit off course. How about that? Right into the easy hands of LINDBERG. And that maybe by more fortune than design. It goes up instead to HJERT to LINDBERG. And it's not quite an own goal, but what do you do when you're coming in at high speed and the ball just deflects up off your face? You try to get it, but Gavin Hawk, this is Walker here, who will take it. He settles things down. He's trying to utilize the remaining portion of this third period. And look at the 4 Swedes. They are right in on STEAD. He needs a new wheel. They still haven't let go. I think they're all in him. They're having a timeout right around him. It's the island of STEAD, surrounded by Swedish waters. And he now will, in fact, get himself a new wheel. He can get himself back where he belongs. It's kind of a curious one that they just had a little bit of a Swedish committee meeting right around him. Roberts is going to just push and push. He might get the last from the Swedish players to force them across the line. And he's got 24 in his pocket for his day's work already. Up and long. Janssen tries to smother it, but it's going to just slip away for a second. And we are through 24 minutes. And it doesn't look like from here that we'll need more than that. It's another 8 still to come. Great Britain 41, Sweden 32. And this is the classification match for 5th position. Six defensive fouls. They've turned it over 3-1. And 3-1 as well. The steals in favor for Great Britain. It has been workmanlike and effective, to say the least. That sign says it all. It has felt like that. The appreciation that has come from the athletes to these Brazilian fans. And equally, it feels as though these Brazilian fans have thanked the world for believing in this country to host these first Olympic Games in South America, and equally these first Paralympic Games. It has been that type of incredible moment, really, in sport, and how it can transform thinking, raise awareness. And these stories throughout the entirety of the Paralympic Games, so many of them really do bring a lot of different thoughts to many of us, I'm sure, about how these athletes have overcome the challenges they face, their impairments, and how well they do it, how gracefully they do it. And they are so equally grateful as well for that moment to be able to show what they can do. It's very impressive to watch. So Roberts goes just to fetch that one. Take a little bit of a load off for the referees, but they'll reinsert it from just in front of Sweden's bench. And it's a double-digit lead now. Ayaz BHUTA surveys his options, sees just when he really should just take this and convert it. He does exactly that. Doesn't waste a lot of time. And now you're seeing out on the floor for Sweden, this is BERTILSSON. He's got the most unique chair that I have seen. Well, he's got the clear hubcaps, hasn't he? As his protection for his spokes. And so as well as we are seeing for number 24, that's Ryan Cowling. They both have that distinctive see-through covering. Rather than the red or the black, we see players with silver as well. So they get style points for sure. But they've got the long chairs too, these big bumpers to provide the cross-blocking element. This is Roberts up to you-know-who, Coral BATEY, and HJERT, in fairness to him, he really could have taken BATEY right out there, and he didn't. He came through, she holds up, and it's fair game out there. Oh, and it will get away from Sweden. It has just, oh, that's frustrating. They had it, and he's leaning back, and with one hand, as you're controlling your chair, he just couldn't corral it right, and it just slips away. And right back, Sweden get a favor. So that was maybe to HJERT for not cutting right through the middle of Coral BATEY in her chair. He showed a little bit of discretion, probably the right call given the situation. And he gets the ball back. It's up to NORLIN. It's a defensive foul now for Roberts, so he'll go take a breather. BERTILSSON gets it in, and it's scored by HJERT. That's Thomas ERIKSSON out there, number 10 now for Sweden. He 56 years young. And we'll just officially look through. I don't think that he has been in this tournament playing as yet. And his official stats suggest exactly that. This is his first playing time now in this fourth period of play. It's important. It's important for Lebrecht to utilize all of his personnel. They have all been through the journey to get here. They deserve an opportunity to perform. And it looks as though they're running out of fingers over there, doing some of their math. Whether it was timing. Ayaz BHUTA. This is forward. Is she going to catch it up? I think just in time. Coral Beatty scoops it and scores it. She has done it again, and she's got a 5 on the board for herself personally. NORLIN needs to be careful not to bounce that out of bounds. Here comes British reinforcements. Inside to HJERT. HJERT, will he pop it over to his teammates? And he will score it himself. He takes it. He looks and he takes it himself. This is Ayaz BHUTA, who's wide open. And he scores again for Great Britain. So they reestablished that 10-goal difference. And I would like to see another Swedish score if they can. For Thomas Eriksson, I'm not sure if there is a record in this competition for oldest Paralympian scoring in wheelchair rugby. But I suspect he would take the title if he gets one. Mikael NORLIN now has a hat trick. The captain, the co-captain of the Swedish side. Ayaz BHUTA, and it's going to be 50-50. Nope, it's contact on the arm. So it's Thomas Eriksson who will make his way over to the penalty box. BHUTA, he's pretty shifty. He's very capable. And he's released Jim Roberts for another score, and he's banked it. You saw the conversation BHUTA was having with Paul Shaw earlier. It was a direct line conversation. And in sport, you don't always necessarily get to sit at the right height with your coach and really talk eye to eye in these moments here that are quite personal here on the bench side, where it's real communication, trying to help each other understand what you would like to achieve and how you want to go about doing it together. It's 12 seconds that they've utilized. Sweden need to get it across that line. It has been a little too delayed, and they'll give it up. $100 goals through the tournament so far. So he's into the 100 club. I think there's probably, you can count on one hand, the players that have that in this tournament. Coral Beatty now with a half dozen. Up into Thomas here. He is a step ahead. And he drops it for his 15th goal. So this, for these two teams, it's their 4th overall match. So that's good going. That's Roberts performing right at his average. He averages 24 a game, or 25 rather. BHUTA, Coral Beatty is putting on her best performance of this tournament for sure right now. She's got a 7th, and for her, her average has been 2.5 goals a game. She has tidied that up real quick with the performance today. And she really more so of a defensive player, but she equally, I don't think anybody out there underestimates her. She's just able to get into good positions. Again, she's in a good position. She reads it. Roberts will hold it, and he's going to utilize this possession for another score, and it's across the line. HJERT decoys the long pass, but holds it. He must bounce it. He must pass it every 10 seconds to keep it live. And Ayaz BHUTA has had his wheels cut out from underneath him. And that will be a change of possession. They're not going to count this score. He has been caught, and he goes into a pretty good tumble there. I think he's okay, though. .408 remain in this fourth period. Sandberg, he equally needs an exchange. And they are their own mobile mechanic. He's got the axle, he pops in the pin. Should be able to lock it himself with his own hand. A good family feeling has been the nature of these Paralympic Games. Alan Ash out there, Mandip Semi as well, getting some playing time. Ash takes double trouble from a couple of the Swedish players as they lock into him. Mandip Semi, and he has been fouled en route. Thomas HJERT gets his hand caught in the cookie jar. And will they just give it to him? And they will award the goal rather than penalizing HJERT and putting him into the penalty box. But officially, it's not given to Mandip Semi, it's a team goal. As a result, Sandberg winding it up into this last half of this fourth period. In and over the top, that is great. Oh, the feed. That should be worth 2 for VARNERUD. I think he equally surprised to track that in. That's the Willie Mays catch. Right in as Alan Ash. It's now a 50-50 ball. It'll still go for him. And it's forward for Great Britain. He has been around this program. Good for him to be back in this lineup representing Great Britain. There's 27 for Jim Roberts. Sandberg decides to go into the middle of it. He's created a lane there. He's drawn a couple defenders towards him, and then HJERT can get into an open space. And then he just, again, indicates that was a nice pass, man. He just dropped it over, a little bit of an arc to it. Mandip Semi is working against time. Jim Roberts has just bought him some time. Oh, they don't get there, though. As you see, it's 27 seconds, and that release play needed to happen just a half a second earlier as the change of possession. It's turned over. That's a tough call, but it is the call. It's the right call. Mandip Semi will score for Great Britain, and he takes it. He has had a half a goal average through the 3 games that have been played. So he'll put another one on. That's his first one today. He hasn't had a lot of time, though, Mandip Semi. He's just had 1 minute and 32, so he'll take that and put it right in the pocket. Sandberg looking to slip into a little crevice here to record another Swedish goal. They've got 40 now. Roberts, well, what's the man to do? He's going to go across the line again. He scores, and he takes it to 28 on the board. He is in another class, is Jim Roberts. He has a bright future in this sport. Mandip semi just settles it down. This is turned into a little bit of a library here late. You talk about drawing the air out of this one. Alan Ash will score. Great for him as well. The feed, he waits for it. He had one goal in the game that he got some action in. 4 minutes before this one, 4:01 officially. That's his second. They're all as good as each other, and probably that one for him even sweeter to get him in a couple of games. And this one, what looks to be another victory coming up for Great Britain. Ash is going to come into Sandberg, forcing that possibility. Makes him take a different route. And now Roberts inside this last minute. He'll just go in Ash, and he just takes the moonwalk across the line. A little pump of celebration for him. Roberts has turned on the gas and closed down that left lane for HJERT. Will he go to his teammate? And that was Glenn ADASZAK, who has a couple goals already. He does inside. They will give it to him, and he's got a hat trick today. ADASZAK is so understated in his approach, just goes about his business. You can count on him. He is there, rain or shine. Jim Roberts is going to just try to manage these last precious seconds. This is the end for Great Britain in Rio. They have done a job to finish exactly where they were 4 years ago. Some might say, well, they haven't made progress. I think they have. I think they've made a little bit of an adjustment in how they want to play this game. I think they know where they need to strengthen. And it is tough at the top in this game. You are not going to get into the top four unless you have the tools in which to get there. They've got the support. They've got a last victory. The fans here from Great Britain, they love it. Brazilian fans, they love sport. They love these athletes in the way they have competed. It is the end result in the classification match. It will be Great Britain 56, Sweden 42. It's a European Championship rerun. And this time, it's more impressively won by Great Britain. They'll put that one, and that is a European title for them, bragging rights, as they shake hands. It's about respect now. They do, of course, have a ton of that for each other. All the athletes do. These moments are real. And the respect there from the Breck across to Roberts. That was the Swedish coach. Mandip semi. He enjoys a good time. Who doesn't? when they look back across their lives and what they did through sport, I think they'll be hard-pressed to remember a moment as genuinely rewarding as this, thanking these Brazilian fans in the tournament they have put on and the way they have helped these athletes take this game to another level in Rio. Of course, they're a personal moment with their Swedish support, family, and friends. But not once have I felt as though this wasn't including everybody in this tournament that has seen it, felt it, enjoyed it, and got a sense, even for a moment, of what it's all about. It's a final score of Great Britain 56, 42 in this classification matchup.